Hey, what's up everybody? Kevin here. I am here with my Instant Pot, and I just wanted to do a brief video to give you everything you need to know to get started cooking with your Instant Pot. The Instant Pot I have with me today is the 7-in-1 model. This is the latest model. If you do have one of the older models, don't worry. All the Instant Pot models work exactly the same. The only difference is a few different features. It might look a tiny bit different, but in terms of the basics, which I'll be talking about in this video, it's all exactly the same. So don't worry about that. So the first thing to learn about is this sealing nozzle right here. Very, very important. You'll notice that, let me turn the light here. There's a side that says venting and the side that says sealing. So what this nozzle does is it actually holds in the steam when things are cooking to keep the pressure built up. However, once it's done cooking and you want to open it, putting it in venting mode allows all the steam to shoot out. So always remember, when you are cooking something, make sure that this nozzle is pointed towards the sealing position, because if not, if it's in venting mode or even if it's halfway and there's still some steam coming out, you're not going to get the pressure built up inside the pot, and that's the whole point of having a pressure cooker. So keep that in mind. Second thing with this nozzle is when you are switching it from sealing mode to venting mode, be very, very careful, because a lot of hot steam is going to shoot out. So you never want to put your hand over the top and turn it like that. I just use my one finger and I kind of just hit it. If you want to be really, really safe, you can use a fork or a knife or just, anything to push it to the other side. But just be very careful, because a lot of hot steam will be shooting out of here. This little button right here is a little pressure valve, and it lets you know whether or not pressure is going on inside the pot. Let me open the top and show you the inside. This is the food blockage seal. Make sure that no food gets stuck inside the vent so that steam can't come out. And here's a little pressure ring, so you see that it pops up and down. If there is pressure in the pot, this will depress and you'll know that there's pressure. So the pot actually is a safety mechanism where it won't let you open the pot if there is pressure going on inside. So it's nice to have that, but just to be safe, you should always try to put my nozzle in venting mode before I open it any time, just to release any steam buildup so that I'm not burning myself when I open the pot. Right here on the sides, this is something that I actually didn't notice until later. You'll see that there's arrows on the pot, and there's an arrow on the bottom right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that's basically lets you know where you need to line up the pot when you want to close it. So if you have the arrow like over here, that won't close, that won't close. I know when I first got the pot, I messed around with this a lot, trying to find the opening. But once you know where those arrows are, you can just make sure these two arrows line up, and it's simple and easy to close. So I'm gonna close it, show you guys the control panel. Pretty self-explanatory. You'll see all the different buttons depending on what you want to cook. If you have an older model, you're not going to have this yogurt function. First thing to keep in mind is when you use any of these preset modes, when you first hit it, it'll show you the time of cooking that preset mode calls for. So poultry, the basic preset is 15 minutes. However, you notice that now it switches to on. On means that the pot is heating up. Based on how much food you have in there, how much liquid, it usually, I've found in my experience, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to heat up before it actually gets to the actual poultry timer. So you see this on for, about 15-20 minutes as it's heating. Once it's heated, once it's at temperature, then it'll become 15, and this will count down from 15 minutes. So keep that in mind. If you are on a time crunch, or you want to know exactly how long something is going to take, it's not going to be just the 15 minutes, but it's also going to add on about 15 to 20 minutes where it's in this on mode where it's heating up. Second thing to keep in mind, if you're trying to switch functions, you'll see that I can't. You have to hit the red button, keep warm cancel, to cancel that mode before you can switch to a different mode. So now that I've turned it off, I can go to steam mode, or I turn it off, I go to soup mode, whatever. But keep that in mind, because I know that's a little confusing at first. I know a lot of people will get stuck. If you unplug the Instant Pot and it's in one of the modes and you plug it back in, it will actually still have that mode on. So if you feel like it's stuck, hit that keep warm cancel button and it'll reset it. The other thing to keep in mind is that once the timer is done on any of these preset modes, the timer will start counting up. So say I'm doing poultry, it's at 15 minutes, it goes to on. Once it's heated up, it's gonna show 15 and it'll count down 15 minutes. Once that's done, this poultry mode this light will turn off, and then this keep warm mode light will turn on. And right now it says 10 because it didn't come from anything. However, give it a second, and you see it's at 0 now. Keep warm mode always starts at 0 and it counts upwards. So if I was in poultry mode and I counted downwards 15 minutes, without doing anything, the Instant Pot will automatically switch from poultry cooking mode to keep warm mode, and then it will start counting upwards so you know how long it's been in keep warm mode. A lot of recipes will tell you after a certain mode is done to put it in keep warm mode for a certain period of time, 10, 15 minutes, whatever the recipe calls for. So keep that in mind also. You don't have to do anything. Once this preset mode is done, it will automatically go to keep warm mode and start counting upwards for you. So that's pretty nice. Other than that, that's pretty much everything. I guess the last thing I wanted to mention is this sealing ring right here, this rubber sealing ring. Make sure when you insert it that it's in correctly. It's easy to have half of it sticking out like that. And if you do that, it won't be able to create a good pressure seal. So make sure you go all the way around and that it's fully in. They say that the way to make sure that it's in is if you can kind of jiggle it around. That means you know that it's actually not, actually may not be in all the way. But if you can kind of jiggle it a little bit, there we go. You can see how the whole ring kind of jiggles a little bit when I move it. If it's out halfway, like this, if I try to jiggle this side, it doesn't really move. It just moves this one part. So once I have it all the way in, now it is stuck on the top. I can kind of move it around. So yeah, get a feel for it. I want to spend all day talking about that. And that is pretty much it. So I hope you guys learned some basics from this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And that's all for now. I'll catch you in the next video. Sayonara.